Hey, it's dripping rain ever so slightly. Hopefully it stops. And what's going on today? I guess I was reading this, which was the most interesting thing today. Apparently there's someone who flew a drone inside a football game and they published it on YouTube and it didn't seem to have much, I guess, concern over it. And this article here says, FAA investigating drone flying inside stadium during no-fly restrictions at Bengal's playoff game. And it says here, the Federal Aviation Administration is investigating a drone that was seen flying inside Paul Brown Stadium near fans and the field of play during the Cincinnati Bengals playoff game Saturday. Apparently people were reporting it, that's how they found out, and it says NFL stadiums are considered no-fly zones in and around stadiums 1 hour before through 1 hour after the scheduled time of an event, unless a waiver is approved by the FAA. I was watching the video and it is what it is. It looks like somebody flew their drone inside a stadium. They're getting views. I would imagine it's kind of a new flyer just based on things like the handling with the camera and all that. At the same time, there's certain parts where I saw it seemed like the crowd clearly recognized there was a drone, although they were waving at it. So I don't know if they thought it was part of the stadium's, I guess, camera feature, so to speak, or if some people assumed afterwards, they're like, oh, it's an illegal drone. But either way, it seemed like the person posted it on their YouTube site and they're a company of sort. I don't know if you can say company. It could be just somebody just trying to establish a business or a presence, because just from seeing the other videos, they create things like music videos and all that. Now this raises a lot of questions. For example, did this person fly, quote, legally, or is this like a, quote, I guess you can say prank if that's what you want to say. But reading some of the comments is kind of interesting to think about. Like first this guy says here, did you do this legally? And this guy replies, no. And that's his official account, the person who uploaded the video. In terms of what he was flying, he was having a conversation with people. Like here it says, I have a Magic Air 2. I think he means Mavic Air 2. And it says, does the quality look worth the money? And then someone asked, what resolution did you have the camera set at when you flew this mission? And he was saying things like, what, 1080p? So if that's true, then that's kind of acknowledgement that he actually flew it, correct? Because I know one of the arguments would be, it's just someone uploading a video. You'd have to actually prove that, ultimately, that it was him that flew it. And of course, there's people upset over this. It was kind of interesting reading his remarks. Like here, he thanks the people that are defending him, because there seems to be people who actually just enjoyed the video. And it says here, thank you. They're just mad because they're not risk takers. Is that like a right way to view this situation in that sense, where it's, hey, everyone's just afraid to do it and he's, I guess, the noble one per se, in terms of flying a drone around a stadium and all that? So there seems to be two sides. You're either, I guess, defending the person's actions or saying nothing will happen, or you're saying it's the most dangerous thing ever and he should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. So let's start with this guy first. I guess he's defending him, it seems like, or saying nothing will happen. It said, for all of you claiming there will be fines, who are they going to fine? Are they going to fine the person who uploaded the video? Since that is the only thing that anyone can gain from this video, is to prove who was actually operating the drone that recorded it. Not on the video. Now, can the person get who uploaded it get a visit? Yes. Can they get a fine? Yes. Can it be taken to court to fight the fine? Yes. A lot will depend how and what is said during the investigation. So there's some people who believe ultimately nothing will be done per se. And then you have other people condemning him, like this guy here says, as a recreational drone pilot and person that attended the game in section 217, he says, I saw your Mavic Pro above the field go. You have ruined drone flying for all of us. Thanks a lot. So obviously this is one of those people who would say someone flying like that is going to create more restrictions and regulations. That is true ultimately. You're gonna have to prove every single bit. Unless this is some ingenious, I guess, quote, prank or something like that. He's played everyone for a fool, but just with all the comments and stuff, it seems kind of self-incriminating so far, where most likely it was this person flying it. And then the second point, in terms of, it's because of people like this, that's why they ruin, I guess, let's just say the hobby or something like that. I think that's the other point I was thinking, where I actually think comments like that have a lot to do with, just say, overtop regulations as well, on top of, let's just say, I don't know, someone doing something stupid. Because in general, you should completely separate the two topics. If someone's doing something stupid or irresponsible or something like that, then take care of it. But to say, oh, that's the reason why you have these over-the-top regulations, they'll be restricted more, it doesn't make sense to me. In any aspect of life, you'll never say that usually. For example, I've often said, let's just say you're using the internet right now. Perfectly fine, you go wherever you wish, do it responsibly. Some people use it in a bad way, yes, but imagine all of a sudden, I don't know, whatever country you're in, the government says, we're taking it all away for your safety. I mean, imagine all your kids that could see these bad sites and all that. So because of that, we're banning every single site, and then afterwards they come back and say, okay, we'll let you use like the internet, but it's gonna be only government authorized, I guess, websites, or you need, I don't know, like a license or something like that to visit anything. Doesn't matter if it's a site about cartoons or something like that, you'll need permission and all that. Like there, would you say, okay, if someone visits like a cartoon site afterwards, you're gonna say, it's because of people like you, that's why we have these regulations. You wouldn't say that, correct? Wouldn't you be more in the mindset of saying, hey, this doesn't make sense. What does that have to do about safety? Like someone watching, I don't know, cartoons or something like that. If someone took a vehicle and let's just say they purposely used it to kill other people or something like that, are you gonna say, oh, that's it, because of people like that, everyone's gonna lose their driver's license now. They're gonna make even more restrictions, make it ridiculous or something like that. Now you have to pay, I don't know, $5,000. You can only drive every time, where you'll have to sign some kind of log book or something like that when you go out, even if it's to buy groceries. People will think, what, that's ridiculous, what is this, right? They'll just say, take care of it, without one moron doing something like this. So why do people have that same mentality? Let's just say with a drone, where if they agree it's over the top, doesn't make sense, why don't they actually do or say something about it versus just saying, oh, it's because of this, that's it, we can't have this or that. It doesn't make sense. It should be consistent, correct? If it's all about safety. Like here, for example, all the manned aircraft crashes with like a drone, the tangible ones, came from like what, police officers and all that. There was actually nowhere near the same amount of, I guess, rage or energy put into the topic. It was one of those, oh well, shrug shoulders, move on. Yet I guarantee if you have something like this situation where someone flew, I don't know, over a stadium like they say, holy, look at all the outrage, the press and all that. That's inconsistent, correct? I mean, shouldn't it be the same thing? Especially in that case when there was an actual real crash. Like again, that person should have to suffer the consequence, but to say, oh, it's because of people like that and so forth, why there's over-the-top regulations, you don't say that about any other aspect in life, and it's just inconsistent when you read the stories of real crashes and all that. I mean, again, I always say, if you want to talk about safety, then focus on safety. But to automatically just assume like this and that or whatever is dangerous or bad just because someone says so, that's not the right way to go in my opinion. I mean, there needs to be more people, kind of like that example in the US actually with that lawyer that sued the FAA and won. I mean, there's not enough people in my opinion that actually challenge things that aren't right versus just going with it. I know it's easier in life, it's probably more profitable to do it, but just in general, I'd rather not hear that excuse, so to speak. So I think that's probably one of the biggest issues for over-the-top regulations, when people keep saying that. The rain's starting to come down now. Alright, see you guys later.